Om Sri Sai Ram. Dear brothers and sisters, my loving, humble pranams at the lotus feet of our beloved Lord, Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba, and Sai Ram to all of you. It gives me a great pleasure to share with you our second episode of program In Tune with Sai. We have received an overwhelming response for this program, not only from across Delhi NCR, but from many states and countries where people enjoyed listening to the experience of brothers S. Kumar. Today we have with us brother Arunesh, who had the rare opportunity to sing before Bhagwan and compose many bhajans that are sung across the globe today. Delhi NCR is blessed to have his parents, Wing Commander Tara Chand Punetha ji and Srimati Padma Punetha ji. They both take active part in the medical Seva and Bhajans in our Gautam Buddh Nagar district. This is our humble offering, and we pray to Bhagwan that the experience and love shared through these programs will help us in our spiritual journey. My prayer to Bhagwan that whenever someone asks me question, why are you part of this organization? My answer should be only to transform myself and love and serve. I thank everyone who have joined us today and the entire team that has helped us to bring it to you. Hope all of you enjoy the program. Sai Ram.
Om Shri Sai Ram. My humble pranams at Bhagwan's lotus feet. Respected elders, dear sisters and brothers, it gives me great joy to inform you all that we have amidst us a person who spent 20 wonderful years with Swami. And I repeat that 20 wonderful years with Swami. He is an accomplished singer, excellent keyboard player, and an outstanding bhajan composer. It's my privilege and a pleasure to welcome Brother Arunesh Punetha to Delhi. Sai Ram Arunesh, welcome to Delhi on behalf of everyone here, and thank you
Sai Ram
for being.
Sham, it's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you very much. I will just, for the
Sai
benefit
Ram,
of
Sai Ram.
everyone, I will briefly provide an introduction to Brother Arunesh. Arunesh joined Swami Educational Institutions at the age of 7 in Ooty School. And for those of us who are not aware of Ooty School, I would strongly recommend all of us to watch the conversations that Brother Abhimanyu has been having with boys who spend their formative years in Ooty. You would see a side of Swami which is so full of love and joy for his children, which you would otherwise not find. Coming back to Arunesh, I'm sure Arunesh also would have those kind of experiences that others have had in Ooty. Uh, Arunesh completed his schooling from the Sri Sathya High Secondary School in 1988. He did his graduation from the Brindavan campus and completed his MBA from the Prashant Nilayam campus. If I recall correctly, in those days, 80s and 90s, after the Darshan interview, Swami would come out and speak with the VIPs who would be seated just outside the bhajan hall on the veranda. And many times he would say, my boys are here with me from KG to PG. And Arunesh is one of the prime examples of those who actually spent time almost from KG to PG. Arunesh, after completing his MBA, Swami personally chose him to serve the super specialty hospital, which he did for 5 years. And thereafter, he has been pursuing his professional career in the healthcare space. Presently, he is a regional director at Narayan Hriday Hospitals. let's come to bhajan compositions. By now, all of us are aware of the wonderful bhajans that Brother Arunesh has composed for the benefit of all. But not many would be aware of some trivia, which I would like to share with you today. Uh, Brother Arunesh started composing bhajans at the age of 19, and the first bhajan he composed was uh, Jai Sai Gopala Jai Nandalala, which incidentally was sung by Suresh Watkarji as part of his album, which comprised of Arunesh's compositions. The first bhajan that was sung in front of Swami, his composition was Giridhar Govinda Gopala Ghaneshama Nandalala, which has become so popular in all over the world. And Arunesh, let me tell you this. I would like to share this with you. There is a composition of yours which we in Delhi very often sing, which is Shirdi ke Sai Parti ke Baba. And it would be very nice if you could share something about that bhajan, since we have a personal connect with that song in Delhi.
Sure.
Coming to some personal connects that I've had with Arunesh, I started knowing Arunesh the day I joined his class in the mid 80s. And thereafter, and we had at that point in time two other wonderful musicians in our class. One who is going to be singing with us today later, and the other who is incidentally giving another talk to the people in Mumbai. So four of us would spend countless hours in the hostel music room discussing songs, discussing bhajans, discussing music, primarily exploring everything about music. Wonderful memories indeed, Arunesh. Let me also tell you, Arunesh, to end. We are very, very fortunate to have you with us today because of the formative years that you have spent with Swami. And I'm sure people in Delhi would greatly benefit and get enriched, not just in listening to your experiences, but also taking the key learnings from them. And for the benefit of everyone, again, when I talk of learnings, let me share. I'll end it by sharing a small conversation that I had with Arunesh yesterday. In fact, we all wanted, some of us wanted him to talk about his compositions. And he had two things to say, which was very profound. जो हम हिंदी में कहते हैं कि वो दिल को छू जाता है. He said, "What can I talk about compositions? Because these compositions are by Swami. I had nothing to do with it except for putting some notes together. And once it got composed, they belong to the people. So there is Swami and there are people. I am no longer in the picture." The other thing, which was more profound, he said, "The moment I start thinking that these are my compositions, then consciously or unconsciously, there's an element of ego that would creep into my mind. And I would try to avoid that." Uh, Brothers and sisters, we are indeed fortunate that we have someone with us today who is actually living Swami's ideals. Thank you, Arunesh, once again for being with us. Jai Sai Ram.
अंतरंग साई अनाथ नाथ साई दीन बंधु साई करुण सिंधु साई अंतरंग साई. I offer my most loving pranams at the lotus feet of our sweet Lord. Respected elders, dear sisters and brothers, I'm very grateful to the Sri Sathya Sai Seva organization, Delhi-NCR, for having me participate in this satsang in tune with Sai. Uh, just preparing for this talk, for this satsang, got me to relive all those precious moments that I've had to live with Swami, and it has left me with a deep sense of nostalgia and more importantly, an immense sense of gratitude to Swami that I could grow under his watchful eye. Now, let me begin with an incident directly. Sometime in 1988-89, we were studying in the Brindavan campus at Whitefield, Bangalore. Swami comes and calls one of our classmates, and he tells him that तुम अपने parents को मुंबई से बुलाओ. Now this brother of ours had also studied his 11th and 12th in Puttaparthi. His parents were his father was a very staunch devotee of Swami, but his mother was a non-believer. So this boy nervously reaches up to Swami and tells Swami, Swami, mother manta nahi hai. Swami looks at him and says, that is my problem. That is not your problem. Now, when I got to hear of this message from Swami, it just dawned on me that when it comes to Swami, all of us share a very unique relationship with Swami. We all are pursuing our journey to Swami, and he is guiding each of us uniquely. No two journeys are comparable. And through this talk, through this satsang, what I am attempting to do is to share my journey with Swami and the way Swami has been guiding the course of my life. As Brother Sham just mentioned, I had the good fortune of joining Ooty early. My parents had got to know Swami sometime early in 1977, and my father had had an opportunity to travel to Bangalore on work, and he managed to come to Brindavan. Swami was in Brindavan, and he had his first darshan of Swami in 1977 at Brindavan. Now he tells me that he had got a gramophone record of Swami's bhajan sung in Swami's voice. He had bought it from Shivaji Nagar in Bangalore, and he brought it home. Now that gramophone record contained all of those beautiful bhajans sung by Swami. Bhajans like Govinda Krishna Jai Gopala Krishna Jai Gopala Bala Bala Radha Krishna Jai Madhura Madhura Murali Ghanashyama Chitta Chora Yashoda ke baal. So these bhajans were so captivating for a 6-year-old mind like mine. And, for me, that was the first time I connected with Swami. I heard him before I saw him, and I would constantly be singing his bhajans. And there were so many more bhajans that, completely captivated and mesmerized me. And that also incidentally was my first orientation to music. I had not heard any other kind of music before that. So my orientation to any kind of music happened with Swami's bhajans, happened with Swami's voice, and that is something that's been carrying me along. Sure enough, so my parents, after some time in 1978, early 1978, we got to know that the Sri Sathya Sai Vidya Vihar school at Ooty was open for admissions. And my father, applied in that place for my admission with Swami, and we got a call. We got a admission call. We got an admission call, and we made our way to Ooty. It was about the same time in July, August 1978. We reached Ooty. Now, this is a very memorable incident that I'd like to share, because this is the first time I saw Swami at a close proximity. My mother and I were approaching the main entrance of the Ooty building, and as we opened the door, what do we see? We see our beloved Lord in that bright orange robe, wearing those orange rubber shoes. I still remember that sight. He is looking at the door. As we open the door, he is looking at the door, and he's smiling. To me, it felt like, he was expecting us. We nervously went, took Pad Namaskar, and proceeded to the principal's office. and very soon we completed the formalities, and I was a part of 100 little children at that particular point in time in Uti. Now, Swami in Uti was like Krishna in Gokul, and with with 100 young children, all in the age group of 7 and 8. Swami was like an indulging mother. He would come to our dormitories. He would come anywhere, anytime. There was always that sense of anticipation कि स्वामी कभी भी कहीं भी आ सकते हैं. I remember the dormitory incident that we all used to be in dormitory. Swami came in. All of us would be scampering down our bunk beds, and were running, and Swami will say shh, shh, shh. He'd be say please be careful, and he'll be say shh, keep be careful. And that was Swami. I remember our there was an incident in our class. Now this class had a fireplace in the room, reminiscent of the old British architecture which the school was, and this was very close to the staircase that led up to Swami's room. And one morning, the teacher was distributing pencil. Just the class was about to start. वो pencil बांट रही थी. And what do we see? Swami slips into the class. And what does he do? He starts helping the teacher. He takes it from her. He gives it to one of the child. And like this, he helped her distribute the pencil box to everybody. Khatam ho gaya, he slips out of the class and possibly goes to another class. Now, we only realized the magnitude of what we went through when we saw our overwhelmed teacher. She was completely overwhelmed, with Swami's act of grace. And it was only then we realized that we've been recipients of his love and grace. So that was Swami for us in Uti, an indulging mother. Swami paid a very important. He gave a lot of importance to the curriculum at Uti. Uti, and it's not only at Uti; it was across all the institutions, right from the bell going up at 10 to 5. When we would hear the music, there's the Supravatam. There was those prayers before meals, the Brahmarpanam. There were the bhajans in college, school. There were the evening bhajans, there were the night prayer, there was the Hanuman Chalisa at the end of the day. So in Swami's curriculum that was designed by Swami, there was total emphasis on Namsmarana and constant remembrance of the Lord. So what the Lord had done was to inculcate in us the habit of remembering Him all the time. Swami has always told us that, Namsmarana in this age is the easiest way to reach Lord, and it is also the easiest way to be dear to the Lord. And this was something that Swami inculcated, and we also remember from Padma Puran. I think all the music boys say when the Lord tells Mad Bhakta Yatra Gayanti Tatra Tishthavi Narada. So that was all that we had to do. Just keep remembering the Lord, and Swami was training us to do that. Now, talking about the curriculum, let me take you to a small incident a few years later in Vrindavan, when one morning, one evening rather, sorry, Swami was talking to the students in Trey Vrindavan, and Swami is talking about how the students, the boys, attend Suprabhatam. That's a very funny incident. Swami was saying, very bad smell. Boys brush nahi karta. बाद में जाके ब्रश करता है, पर सुप्रभातम के टाइम ब्रश नहीं करता. एंड वो क्या करता है, वो आगे वो बॉय बैठ के वो सोता है, एंड स्वामी वुड इमिटेट. Instead of waking him up, he also sleeps on him, and there'd be peals of laughter, and and Swami, when he smiles, his whole body smiles with him, his whole body laughs with him, and you are completely consumed in that. But what was Swami trying to tell us? Swami was trying to, reinforce the importance of that ritual. We were trying to wake Swami within. Now that Swami within was awake and we were sleeping. And so that was the importance of curriculum that Swami reinforced in us at a very young age. Now coming back to Ooty, I remember those evenings in Ooty. Whenever Swami came to Ooty, and all of us, it used to be at after about 7 o'clock in the evening. All of us would be dressed in our night dresses, wearing those monkey caps, and Swami ke samne bhajan hall. He'd be sitting in the bhajan hall. We'd go and sit around, and Swami would say, he'd be asking about children from different states. And then Swami will say, Assam se kaun hai Assam se? So we'd lift our hand because I was from Guwahati. He spotted me. He told, Bhajan gata? I told, yes, Swami, Bhajan gata. Acha, Bhajan gao. So that was the first time, I sang before Swami, and this was the bhajan. शिव शिव शंभो तांडव प्रियकर भव भव भैरव भवानी शंकर शिव शिव शंभो तांडव प्रियकर हर हर बम बम बोल महेश्वर डम डम डमरू नटन मनोहर सत्यम शिवम साई सुंदरम शिव शिव शंभो तांडव प्रियकर. Now this is a very special bhajan for me. The first bhajan that I sang before Swami, and I can still remember that incident, visualizing Swami, the way he was amused, and the way he was laughing, and he enjoyed the bhajan thoroughly. And it occurred to me then that this God loves music, and if I have to be close to this God, I need to learn more and more bhajans. And at that point in time, I it just I realized that this Swami is Gana Priya. He's Gana Priya. He loves music, and the easiest way for me to stay close to him and get his attention was through music. And the seed, of wanting to be close to him through music was sown into my subconscious with this incident. Now our batch at that point in time, was blessed with a lot of children who were very musically inclined. They were very talented singers. One is brother Ravi Kumar, who is also our classmate. But in addition to that, also we had people who were learning harmonium, people who were learning tabla, who were learning nal, and we were a handy batch. We could combine to put up some decent bhajans. So after we completed our 5th class in Ooty, we came to Puttaparthi, and we straight joined the senior boys hostel. Swami continued to indulge us the same way. A few of us, were asked to come to the mandir and sing along with the senior brothers over there. And me, and along with I also got an opportunity to sing in front of Swami. At that time, I was barely about 12 to 13 years. And I sang with the brother Anindya Das Gupta. And there were a few, two others who were singing. And we used to sit just below Swami. And whenever we sang in front of Swami, Swami was all love and compassion. He was, as usual, extremely humored to see us. And he would be amused. His reactions would enthrall the complete bhajan hall, and that was the way Swami indulged us like a mother. So at this point in time, I think let us reach out to this universal mother, Swami. He is one who only seeks auspiciousness and welfare for all his children. He's the one who is Gana Vinodini, who loves music. He only seeks, he only wants to give untold, immeasurable happiness to his children. So let's hear brother Ravi Kumar sing Omkara Rupini Janani Ma.
ओंकार रूपिणी जननी माँ ओंकार रूपिणी जननी माँ ओंकार रूपिणी जननी माँ, ओंकार रूपिणी जननी माँ, मंगलकारिणी जननी माँ, मंगलकारिणी जननी माँ, मंगलकारिणी जननी माँ, मंगलकारिणी जननी माँ, ओंकार रूपिणी जननी माँ, ओंकार रूपिणी जननी माँ, गान विनोदिनी जननी माँ, गान विनोदिनी जननी माँ, गान विनोदिनी जननी माँ, गान विनोदिनी जननी माँ, आनंददायिनी जननी माँ, आनंददायिनी जननी माँ, आनंददायिनी जननी माँ, आनंददायिनी जननी माँ, जननी माँ, परतेश्वरी 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 माँ, ओंकार रूपिणी जननी माँ, ओंकार रूपिणी जननी माँ, मंगलकारिणी जननी माँ, मंगलकारिणी जननी माँ, ओंकार रूपिणी जननी माँ, ओंकार रूपिणी जननी माँ, गान विनोदिनी जननी माँ, गान विनोदिनी जननी माँ, आनंददायिनी जननी माँ, आनंददायिनी जननी माँ, जननी माँ, परतेश्वरी 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 माँ, ओंकार रूपिणी जननी माँ.
Sai Ram. So all this while, Swami was an indulging mother for those little children like us who were possibly toddlers and a few years beyond. And we were in Parthi with him, sitting just below him, singing bhajans, and he was delighting us no end. Now, as we were turning teenagers, this Swami, he turned into becoming an endearing father and also a disciplining father. Possibly due to my lack of my, I'm talking about it specifically to myself, due to my lack of maturity and the ability to value the opportunity that I had to sit below him and sing for him. I think that got the better of me. And I would like to illustrate this with an incident. There, at that point in time in Mandir, we used to also have the ladies singing. There used to be ladies and gents singing at the same time. And there was this very beautiful bhajan, Tere Siva Prabhu Koi Nahi Hai. And we had one senior auntie who used to sing this bhajan, and it used to really captivate all of us. An epitome of devotion for Swami. Now, on one occasion, we had one senior brother singing this bhajan, Tere Seva Prabhu Koi Nahi Hai. And for the sake of the context and those of us who may not have heard this bhajan, let me share a few lines with you all. तेरे सिवा प्रभु कोई नहीं है, तुझको मेरा प्रणाम, तुझको मेरा प्रणाम साईं बाबा, तुझको मेरा प्रणाम। मुरली मनो हर आशा न तोड़ो, दुख भंजन मेरा साथ न छोड़ो, द्वार खड़ी हूँ मैं दुखियारी, सुन ले मेरी पुकार साईं बाबा, सुन ले मेरी पुकार। Now there's this line, द्वार खड़ी हूँ मैं दुखियारी. That was a line that auntie used to sing. Why is this brother singing द्वार खड़ी हूँ? He should be singing द्वार खड़ा हूँ. And this kind of tickled me, and I started to smile. And I mean, it was obviously completely attributable to my lack of maturity then. And I was smiling. I caught Swami's attention. Swami looked at me and gave me a stern stare. I immediately realized that I had made a mistake, and I controlled myself. Soon enough, after some time, the warden called a few of us, and he told, boy, Swami has told you to stop singing. Now, this came, for me, it was like heavens fell, because all along I knew that my Swami was Gana Priya. That Swami, when I at that point in time when I sang Shiva Shiva Shambho, to that time he was this Swami, this God, and this God had slowly with time become my God. And I knew that the only way to please my God was through music. That I didn't know anything else, and this opportunity also was gone. And there was a lot of despondency that set in. And after some time, Swami came up to me one day and he asked me, "Bhajan kaiko nahi gata?" I used to, more or less always be tongue-tied before Swami, and I just looked up at Swami. Swami just patted me and walked away. And then I wondered, it was sometime later when that realization dawned in me. Swami, when he was asking me kaiko nahi gata, he was not asking me, why are you not singing? He was asking me, have you realized why you're not singing? Have you realized why have you been stopped from singing? And I realized that I had accepted that I couldn't sing before Swami, but that understanding had not come in. And what Swami wanted was that I should introspect. See, we all go through our levels of maturity, immaturity, and this is like a cycle, and we have to live with the learning curve even when with Swami. So I also had to live with that. 1 year passed, second year passed, the 60th birthday celebrations came in 1985, and at that point in time we all were aware that 60th birthday was once in many lifetimes opportunity. To be even close to Swami during his 60th birthday was a blessing of our parents, of our ancestors. And here, we are actually with Swami in Puttaparthi. Now, the best part of it was that Swami was himself supervising the dance drama, the music program. and an opportunity to be supervised directly by Swami was an exceptional opportunity, and a sign of huge blessing. I was not a part of any celebration, any 60th birthday celebration, and at that point in time, I had come to I had obviously accepted it. I used to keep praying even in the bhajan hall. I didn't go out of Swami's gaze. I used to sit in the 10th to 12th row. I diligently, religiously, I was always there, and I developed an inclination for playing harmonium. That was how, from not being able to sing, I developed an inclination for playing harmonium. मेरे को स्वामी के पास कैसे न कैसे करके म्यूजिक के थ्रू पहुंचना है. And what happened is that in Swami's institutions, what we need to realize is that we all are not formally trained. None of us, very few of us, are actually well trained. Most of us, majority of us, don't have any formal training. Swami is our guru, and how he does that, he creates an environment where and the climate where we learn from each other. The element of selflessness, amongst the students of Swami, the way they come forward to help the younger brothers or even each other is something that I've been out of. I've come and I've worked professionally outside. I've never seen this kind of selflessness anywhere else, and it is because of this. There is total selflessness. There is no iota of ego. That Swami works through all of us. He works through all his students. He makes them his instruments, and that is how generations of students learn in Swami's, under Swami's watchful eye, and become good enough to perform before him. And I learned the fundamentals of harmonium from my classmate Harish Mirpuri, and there were a lot of senior brothers who were very encouraging. Brother Askumar, who spoke the last time, and a lot of other senior brothers were extremely encouraging. And so I slowly started playing harmonium. Pele in the morning, school prayers, school bhajans, hostel bhajans, and over a period of time, through constant practice, I became an accepted harmonium player. And come to our 12th class, I had been playing harmonium for about 2 years. I had become slightly more proficient. And there was one instance where it was a Sunday morning bhajan, and Swami at that particular day, none of the senior harmonium players came for bhajan, and it was approaching 9 o'clock. Bhajans used to be held at 9 o'clock at that point in time. Just a few minutes away, Dr. S. Kumar, brother S. Kumar, he looks behind. He says, Arunesh, come. Nobody has come and play bhajan. I just seized the opportunity and jumped. And I went and sat there. I was unbelievably happy. That something like this has come my way. This was the same place where I used to sit 4 years before and sing to Swami, sitting just below him, and an opportunity like this has come back again. And sure enough, I played. And luckily for me, Swami came early for bhajan that day. It was like in the second bhajan itself he came, and he had such a sweet smile. And the entire bhajan he was watching me play. And uske baad, then Swami left, and from then on, I've always held on very dearly to this opportunity. I became Swami's harmony. He used to call me a harmony. And till that time, I remember playing in front of Swami. He used to refer to me as harmony. Now, to me, this was not an accident. This was completely, as per his divine will. Swami ke kaam mein na sab kuch, everything happens as per his will. Nothing happens by accident. Koi na koi aake unka kaam kar lega. Somebody or other will stand up and do his work. As his instruments, we need to be always prepared. We need to be very selfless, and we need to be ready. कभी भी स्वामी आके आपको बुला सकते हैं. So that was how I started playing harmonium in front of Swami. And several years later, when I look back at this incident, I also realized that he's a sutradar. He decides कौन क्या role करेगा, ये भजन गाएगा, ये हारमोनियम बजाएगा, ये कंपोज करेगा, ये बाकी इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स बजाएगा, and not only in the space of music, everywhere else, even at the large worldly level, he decides who will play what part in his mission. And all what we need to do is to be selfless and to be constantly prepared. I've always believed that Swami is like that divine goldsmith. He we are all like the gold metal in his hand, and he melts us to purify us, and then he will cool the metal down to shape a character. So that is his treatment. We just need to surrender to him, and let him make us an instrument of his choice. So that was the beginning of a very beautiful phase in my life, and also the lives of the other classmates of mine. Some of us were moved to the Brindavan campus in Whitefield, and those days were amongst the most memorable days in my life. One thing is that all of us were had different crafts, different sets of talent. And what we realized is that during that time, all of us got to develop our craft under Swami's watchful eye, whether somebody was singing, playing, speaking, drama, Vedam, band, जो भी कहो, Swami would give an opportunity. Swami would personally supervise. We would be constantly occupied in some other activity or other. We were in a constant state of preparation. कभी भी स्वामी आके बोले अच्छा दिखाओ, and we should be ready to show this. And that's how what brother Shyam was saying, the amount of time we spend together, the amount of work, the music that we have created for the sake of for Swami, to show Swami. And those were some of those moments that actually Swami designed for us to grow as individuals, and he refined us as his instruments. I would like to at this point in time also share with you an incident where in our in 1992, after I completed my 3 years in Vrindavan, we were a part of the 65th birthday celebration. Lots of grace and love from Swami. I would like to straight go down to our MBA days, and at that point in time, there was this this drama by our batch in 1992 in front of Swami. And this drama was ethical dilemmas and business. And this drama ended with this song, जब कोई बात बिगड़ जाए, जब कोई बात बिगड़ जाए, जब कोई मुश्किल पड़ जाए, तुम देना साथ मेरा ओ हमनवा. Now the reason we had this song was to look up to Swami as our friend forever. And Swami just loved this drama. And the next day he called all the second MBA boys to the interview room. He was talking to all of us, and then he was talking, and then he looks at me and very playfully says, वो song तूने किया ना. Now what I'd like to say is that everybody knows that this song is an adaptation of an English song, and it's sung all over. But to me, it was an acknowledgement from Swami that he knows that I compose. More than that, it was an acknowledgement from Swami that I am his instrument through which compositions can happen. That was what it was really. And when you are with Swami, it is very important for us to be like that hollow flute for the Lord to play his melody. And if we have a lot of baggage within us, there is a less likely a chance that we would be appropriate instruments for the Lord. One more incident that I want to share, because Brother Sham also brought it up, and how did we introduce and sing new bhajans. So Swami is the inspiration for all compositions, really. The compositions, bhajans, particularly because this is a program on bhajans. I'm sharing this incident with you all. In Vrindavan, we had introduced this bhajan, Shirdi Ke Sai Parti Ke Baba. Now, normally how we would do is that, a singer would sing it in the hospital. We would sing this bhajan in the hostel, and we would sing this bhajan till all the students were comfortable, and then we would take it and sing it in front of Swami. पर उस समय स्वामी के सामने नया भजन गाने के लिए you really required हिम्मत, you required a lot of courage to do that. And I mean, obviously everybody was nervous about singing a new composition, and I just realized there was something in me which told me that see, the students have followed this song well. It is not a very difficult bhajan. It should get an opportunity to be presented before Swami. And उस समय कल्याण मंडपम, there was Sai Ram hall wasn't there, and वो कल्याण मंडपम में भजन होता था, and I decided that I will only introduce this bhajan. And I remember this incident very vividly. हम लोग वहाँ बैठे हैं शाम के भजन के लिए, and Swami is and I was praying to Swami. As it is, I was not a very regular singer. I was a regular harmonium player, but I was not a regular singer. I used to sing once in a while, and I was introducing a bhajan. So I was praying to Swami, Swami, ye aapka bhajan hai, Swami, please sing through me, please sing through me. And I sang the bhajan. Dekha jayega, Swami will take care. And the merciful Lord, he sat through the complete bhajan, and to me, once he had completed the bhajan, waited for the last line in the second speed to be sung twice. To me, that was a sign that the Lord had accepted this bhajan, and this bhajan has stayed ever since. So let me just sing a few lines of Shirdi Ke Sai. Shirdi Ke Sai, Parti Ke Baba, तुम हो हमारे प्यारे साईं बाबा, शिरडी के साईं परती के बाबा, प्रेममय साईं प्रेम प्रदाता, ईश्वराम्बनंदन जगत परिपाला, पाप विनाशक परम कृपाला, शिरडी के साईं परती के बाबा. So this is how Shirdi Ke Sai was first sung before Swami. And there's another very beautiful incident that was that pretty much influenced me significantly. Was sometime in 1992. Swami was showering a lot of grace to our family, and my brother, who's a doctor at Whitefield Hospital, Dr. Pankaj Punetha, is a senior anesthetist over there. At that point in time, Swami had decided that he will send him for the MBBS to the Bangalore University. So he calls me one evening, and Swami, what he tells me that मैंने वाइस चांसलर से बात कर लिया है, तुम जाओ. And he gives me a packet of fees for my brother. He takes money out and puts it into my pocket, and he says, जाओ जाके वाइस चांसलर से मिलके आओ. You go home. My parents were in Bangalore that time. I was completely overwhelmed with this gesture of Swami. I was so touched, and it was that moment where we didn't expect that the Lord would come, could show this kind of gesture. And And for somebody like me who had spent quite some time since childhood, this was something very different. So I quickly went home, and next day, before the evening darshan, I returned back, and I was sitting for darshan in the enclosure. So the MBA boys had an enclosure in the front, and स्वामी का दर्शन हो रहा है. स्वामी is giving his darshan. स्वामी आ रहे हैं दर्शन करके, and मैं मन ही मन प्रे कर रहा हूँ, स्वामी आज मत बुलाना, please don't call me today. I'm not able to digest this. स्वामी थोड़ा ठहर के बुलाना. And then, I don't know what got me to make this strange request to Swami, that Swami comes near our enclosure, and Swami tells, both the first MBA and second MBA boys sat together. We were in the second MBA batch. Swami बोलते हैं, आज first MBA boys interview के लिए जाओ, second MBA boys को digestion problem. I was completely stunned. I was cursing myself. I told, what am I saying? Who am I to decide what is it that I can take on, what I can't take? Do I understand my own capacity? He knows me more than I know myself. There was a time when he knew I didn't have the capacity to take more, and today, when he's giving me more, I'm telling him, ki Swami, please ठहर के देना. And I kept praying to Swami. When Swami was speaking to the first MBA boys, I kept praying, Swami, please, I'm very sorry. And soon enough, Swami interview unko khatam karke, he comes out. He calls some of the boys for distribution. Swami normally would always be distributing something. Swami called me as well, and he asked me, क्या हुआ Bangalore में बात हुई, and he asked about my the brother's admission, and वो करके that it got over. But what this incident did was to leave in me a very lasting understanding. These signs of Swami's omniscience and Swami's all-knowingness had a very calming influence on me from within, and I began to recognize that I spend a lot of energy worrying, and I've been doing that for all last 10 years, 12 years, कि worrying स्वामी कब बात करेंगे, स्वामी क्यों नहीं बात करते, when actually this sweet Lord is telling me that I am within you. I mean, आज तुम इतना क्यों भटक रहे हो? I'm within you. All you need to do is to reach out to me within you. And he's acknowledging, when he tells something like this, that digestion problem, he's acknowledging that you are, even when you're speaking to yourself, remember that you're speaking to me. And ever since when, some incident like this, gets you constantly absorbed in Swami. Wherever you go, aap kahin bhi jao, you are always thinking of him. You know that whatever you do, he knows about it. And this understanding also, I've realized, comes only as an act of his grace. It's not always that we can feel like this. So whatever time I got, I would try to, even when I was in the college or in the hostel, kabhi bhi, you got that small window opportunity, you run to the music room, sit before the harmonium and try to make something for Swami. You run to the college, wo foyer mein wahan par teacher kuch 10-15 late aa rahe, chalo let me just go there. There's a composition, there's a song that's running in my mind, let me try and go and complete. And that is how Swami worked through us. And this bhajan Giridhar Govinda Gopala is actually an expression of this longing for Swami. It's a prayer for his constant proximity. When you reach out to this Sai Krishna in all his names, and you pray for his proximity. We've got Krishna Janmashtami around the corner. It's on the 12th. So let us sing along with brother Ravi Kumar, Giridhar Govinda Gopala.
गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाल घनश्याम नंदलाला गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाल घनश्याम गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाल घनश्याम नंदलाल गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाल घनश्याम नंदलाल मनमोहना मधुसूदना हे माधवा मनमोहना मधुसूदना हे माधवा मनमोहना मधुसूदना हे माधवा मनमोहना मधुसूदना हे माधवा गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाल घनश्याम नंदलाला गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाल घनश्याम नंदलाला दामोदरा जनार्दना मुरलीधरा मनमोहना दामोदरा जनार्दना मुरलीधरा मनमोहना दामोदरा जनार्दना मुरलीधरा मनमोहना दामोदरा जनार्दना मुरलीधरा मनमोहना नमो साई नारायणाय नमो सत्यनारायणाय 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 नमो साई नारायणाय नमो साई नारायणाय नमो साई नारायणाय नमो साई नारायणाय गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाल घनश्याम नंदलाल गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाल घनश्याम नंदलाल मनमोहना मधुसूदना हे माधवा मनमोहना मधुसूदना हे माधवा दामोदरा जनार्दना मुरलीधरा मनमोहना दामोदरा जनार्दना मुरलीधरा मनमोहना नमो साई नारायणाय नमो सत्यनारायणाय नमो साई नारायणाय नमो सत्यनारायणाय नमो साई नारायणाय नमो साई नारायणाय नमो साई नारायणाय नमो साई नारायणाय गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाल घनश्याम नंदना
Sai Ram. Now, this is a voice, that connects us instantly to Swami, and this song has been sung so beautifully. Now, all along, coming back to the journey that we've been discussing, earlier on in the earlier years of her life, Swami was an indulging mother. Then he became an endearing, disciplining father. And now, as we approached adulthood from teenagers, he very quietly, smoothly slipped into the role of a Sakha Sarathi. And I'd like to share with you a few incidents of how Swami has been guiding me, like a friend, and how he has been showing his presence at all time. Now, as a part of the MBA program, we had a very brilliant MBA program, great faculty, and Swami also spent a lot of time with us. On several occasions, explaining concepts and just showering his grace. And at the same time, as was his requirement, we were also very busily involved in all the music programs. I mean, you had to be in. Swami keeps us busy in and out. Now, the final exams were around the corner, and we had the Viva Voce. And that was one morning, and I was generally worried because my understanding of current affairs was dismal. I knew that the faculty which sat in the Viva was very distinguished. So I approached Mandir that morning, the Darshan morning, and like I would always do, I would straight go to the bhajan hall and sit, just under Swami's chair, near Swami's chair, close to the door, and wait for him to come. And I was silently praying. So what Swami does is that Swami Pura Darshan, he does the entire Darshan, and he comes straight into the bhajan hall. He comes straight to me and he gestures me. He asks me to stand. I stand, and I'm standing very close to Swami, and I can virtually see every crown in Swami's hair. I still remember that visual. I can see every crown in his hair. I see his penetrating eyes. He looks into me and he tells me, "You are also good." I don't know what Swami told thereafter, but I know what those words did to me. They infused into me a confidence that will work for me for several lifetimes. And ever since then, at every situation in my life, even after I have moved on for my professional engagements outside Perth 3, I've got any important meeting, I just go back and look at that visual of Swami looking at me straight into my eyes and saying, "You are good." If Swami is saying you're good, means you're good. He will take care of whatever happens. And actually, that is applicable to all of us. All of us who have even seen Swami, all of us who have had the opportunity to receive His grace. And this was a very important instance in my life. And then there's another instance where he is actually guided. He is a sutradhar. He guides. He directs us, and he decides who will do what part when. So I remember this incident in Kodaikanal in 1992. Swami came. We were all sitting. Swami asked, "Needle se kaun kaun darta hai?" अब स्वामी से क्या झूठ बोलना. So I was terrified of needles, and asked my parents. They will tell you that. And I raised my hand. Swami, I'm scared. And there was another brother, just the two of us, nobody else scared. Maybe they weren't. And Swami, he looked at me and he told, "No way," in Telugu, you scared of needles. And everybody else laughed. Now this observation this from Swami at that point of time was so profound, and with so much foresight. 1 year down the line, I, and along with 4 of our classmates, we were identified by Swami to go and work in the hospital. And the department that I was assigned, I was put into the dialysis department. Now I have no background, I have no experience, I have no inclination to healthcare of any sorts. And I was there. And what do we do in dialysis? The patient is suffering from kidney failure. You have to cannulize. You have to put the needle into those arterialized veins, draw the blood out, and purify the blood, and take care of the patient. So I did 4 years of that, and about 1 year in the CTVS OT. Now, at that particular point in time, I used to wonder, Swamine, why have I been put in dialysis? And I was not able to understand. And it took me a lot of time to really like what I was doing. I was doing it very diligently. We used to work very hard, but I didn't know if this was meant for me. And it is only after I moved from Perthi that, any assignment that I have got till date, all the best opportunities in my life have come because of my stint in Puttaparthi. And this was the good Lord who was deciding the course of my life much before I even started thinking about it. This is how he directs the course of a life. Now, so it's very important for us to realize that Swami is within us, and he's constantly accompanying us. The moment we realize that he is within us, you have that confidence to take on anything that comes your way, whether you're competent or not, that he decides. And but the ability he will give you to handle every situation. Now I remember, when we were in Ooty, there used to be one song that we used to sing for Swami. Why fear when I am here? So says Baba, Sathya Sai Baba, Sathya Sai Baba, my Lord. All I want is your love, my child. All I want is your faith. All I want is your love in God, no matter what's your fate. So what Swami is saying, first he says, all I want is your love, all I want is your faith. Then as an afterthought, he says, Acha, forget faith, that will always go up and down. Just love me. Just love me constantly, consistently, and just remember my name, just sing my name, that is enough for me. And Swami has given this assurance on several occasions, and he's told that in the Gita. I remember he has told this in a lot of discourses when he says, Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana pariyupasate tesham nityabhiyukta nam yogakshemam vahamyaham. He who thinks of me, he who is engaged in exclusive devotion to me, he who is always absorbed in me, I will give him what he lacks. I will preserve what he has. Now when you have Swami with us, all the time, what is it that you lack? All that we need to pray is that he constantly guides us. He gives us a realization to look for him within us, and eventually our journey is to him, across lifetimes, and he only is telling us how to do the journey to him. No, and when you have the realization that the person to whom you are doing the person who is the destination, he himself is accompanying you, then the journey itself is a destination. You don't have to think about the destination at all. Our mind is like the radio. There is a deluge of signals outside, and when you tune outside, the mind doesn't know whom and what to tune into. What it needs to do is to just tune inward, and you'll find that your Lord is inside, and the Lord will guide you to your destination. So with this, I would like to pray to Swami that he always stays in our heart. He is always guiding us across our journey, and we feel his presence at all times. I would like to thank you all for being in this satsang, and I would also like to thank Brother Ravi for the wonderful singing that he has done. And I think it's but right that we end the satsang with this song, आओ मिलकर साई को बसा लें दिल में. Sai Ram.
आओ मिलकर साईं को, आओ मिलकर साईं को बसा ले दिल में, बसा ले दिल में। आओ हम दोहराए साई राम नाम गुण गाए, आओ हम दोहराए साई राम नाम गुण गाए। दिल में, दिल में, दिल में, दिल में। आओ मिलकर साई को बसा ले दिल में, बसा ले दिल में। साई से नाता जन्मों का, ये प्यार का रिश्ता हमारा। साई से नाता जन्मों का, ये प्यार का रिश्ता हमारा। प्रेम भाव भक्ति श्रद्धा से साई को नमन करें। दिल में, दिल में, दिल में, दिल में। आओ मिलकर साई को बसा ले दिल में, बसा ले दिल में। सर्वधर्म के स्वामी साई, जग के पालनहारे। सर्वधर्म के स्वामी साई, जग के पालनहारे। साई में सब, सब में साई, गूंजे तन मन में। साई राम, साई राम, साई राम, साई राम। आओ हम दोहराए साई राम नाम गुण गाए। आओ हम दोहराए साई राम नाम गुण गाए। दिल में, दिल में, दिल में, दिल में। आओ मिलकर साई को, आओ मिलकर साई को बसा ले दिल में, बसा ले दिल में, बसा ले दिल में।
Humble salutations at the lotus feet of our loving, loving Sai. Sai Ram to all of you. भजन से मन को सजन बनाकर भक्ति मार्ग सिखला दिया। ओ स्वामी, हम सब भक्तों के ऊपर आपका इतना आशीर्वाद है। आपने हमें सबसे बहुमूल्य जो उपहार दिया है वो है ये साई भजनामृत। जब भी हम भजन गाते हैं, गुनगुनाते हैं, सुनते हैं, एक बार नहीं अनेक बार हमारे मन में ये विचार आता है, कौन है, कौन है ये प्राणी, ये दिव्य प्राणी, ये संत, कौन है ये लोग जिन्होंने अपनी भक्ति को, स्वामी का जो प्रेम है उनके दिल में, उन सबको संजोया, इतने सुंदर शब्द दिए, इतने सुंदर सुरों में लेकर उसको ढाला और इतने प्यारे साई भजन बनाकर भगवान के चरणों में अर्पण कर दिया। हम सब के लिए भक्तों को भगवान से मिलने का, उनसे बात करने का, हम अपनी प्रार्थना उन तक पहुंचाने का इतना सुंदर माध्यम ये साई भजन इन लोगों ने हमारे को दिया है। ब्रदर अरुणेश, thank you so much for such beautiful, soulful compositions. I also take this moment today to thank you and to thank each and every composer of Sai Bhajans. इस धरती पर, इस युग में ऐसे कोई भगवान ना हुए हमारे साई जैसे, ना ऐसे साई भजन हुए हैं। इतने सुंदर भजन और इतने प्यारे कॉम्पोजिशंस हुए ही नहीं हैं। सो टुडे हम सबके दिलों की तरफ से आप सभी को नमन है, प्रेम भरा नमन है। Salutations to all you composers. Yes, I agree. Swami is our master. He is the sole doer, absolutely. But he chose all of you as his divine instruments. He picked you up, he nurtured you, और आपके थ्रू इतना सुंदर भजन अमृत हम सबको उन्होंने उपहार में दिया. So I'm very thankful to Bhagwan, definitely for all his blessings that he has passed on to us through all of you, blessed souls. I would like to share something with all my viewers, all my brothers and sisters. Like Brother Shah mentioned in the beginning, yesterday when we were speaking with Brother Arunesh and discussing the technicalities of the presentation, like Brother Sham, मुझे भी ये बात बहुत प्यारी लगी ब्रदर अरुणेश की. श्याम भैया हमसे कहते हैं कि हम आपके कॉम्पोजिशंस के बारे में कुछ आपसे पूछेंगे या आप बैकग्राउंड बताएंगे. All of a sudden, he said, why? The focus is Swami, not these compositions. Such a simple line, but such deep learnings, such humility, such a sense of selflessness. We are so blessed to have you with us today, brother. And for such beautiful learnings, you shared with us your such wonderful experiences. And all those teachings were not only for you, they are for each one of us, to guide us, to inspire us. Yes, first and foremost, thanks to our Master, to our Sai, who has blessed us with this beautiful evening. भगवान की मर्जी के बिना, हमारे स्वामी की ग्रेस के बगैर हम ये सत्संग का आनंद कैसे ले सकते हैं. सो स्वामी, हमारी तरफ से हम कितना आपको आभार प्रकट करें वो कम है. Our humble and we are so much gratitude we have in our heart for you. We're so grateful to you to bless us with these beautiful satsang sessions. And Brother Arunesh, you've taken out the time, you've shared with us, and we really pray to Swami that he blesses you and he keeps you blessed, and we have such opportunities in the future also. And Swami keeps us all on the right path. He guides us, and as you said, he shapes us into the way he wants to shape us, and we can all become that hollow flute through which he can, blow his music. My humble pranams to Bhagwan, and many, many thanks to you once again.
Yeah.
I also want to take this opportunity to thank another very revered and dear, dear soul, our brother Ravi Kumar. Brother, thank you so much for lending your beautiful melodious voice to all these compositions. We've had so much ananda in the last few days hearing you, and today, definitely, it was totally mesmerizing. And all the singers of Delhi-NCR, thank you for all your efforts you've put in to sing along with brother Ravi Kumar. We also have Mr. Kishle Kishore and Mr. Pragyan to thank. They have uploaded these and made these beautiful tracks which we have just enjoyed. And before we go for the Mangal Aarti, I would like to wish all of you a very happy Janmashtami in advance. And Bhagwan, thank you once again for blessing us with this beautiful satsang. Brother Arunesh, thank you so much. You have given us such beautiful learnings to take from and such beautiful guidance and words. May Swami bless us all. Thank you once again. For Janmashtami, please join us on the 12th on the same YouTube channel in the evening for special prayers and Sai Bhajan. From Delhi-NCR, Jai Sai Ram. Thank you, Swami. Thank you all.
Om Jai Jagadish Hari Swami Sathya Sai Hari Bhajana Samdharshaka Bhajana Samdharshaka Bhakti Maheshwara Om Jai Jagadish Hari Shiva Jana Sri Jana Seva Pranapati Swami Sarva Pranapati Ashrita Kalpaladika Ashrita Kalpaladika Avartana Om Jai Jagadish Hari Mata Pita Guru Deva Mariyantayunire Swami Mariyantayunire Nada Brahma Jananatha Nada Brahma Jananatha Nagendra Sayana Om Jai Jagadish Hari Om Kala Sai Mahadeva Satya Sai Mahadeva Mangalarati Mangalarati Mangalagirikaya Om Jai Jagadish Hari Narayana Satya Narayana 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 Satya Narayana Narayana Satya Narayana Narayana Om Jai Sadguru Deva Narayana Narayana Satya Narayana 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 Satya Narayana Narayana Satya Narayana Narayana Om Jai Sadguru Deva Narayana Narayana Satya Narayana 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 Jai Sadguru Deva Om Shanti 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 Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu Shanti 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 Jai Bolo Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba Ji ki Jai
पवित्रं महाविभूतिं परमं विचित्रं लीलाविभूतिं परमार्थइष्टार्थमोक्षप्रदानं महाविभूतिं इदमाश्रयामि परमं पवित्रं महाविभूतिं परमं विचित्रं लीलाविभूतिं परमार्थयिष्टार्थमोक्षप्रदानम् भावाविभूतिम् इदमाश्रयामि परमम् पवित्रम् भावाविभूतिम् परमम् विचित्रम् लीलाविभूतिम् परमार्थयिष्टार्थमोक्षप्रदानम् भावाविभूतिम् इदमाश्रयामि।
ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। 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 ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्।